fantastic. This is a new AMG GLC. Okay, let me tell you, it's an SUV, but it drives like a coupe slash sedan. This car is very agile, very nimble, very quick, very responsive. It's got a biturbo V6 that is pretty quick, and the exhaust is very nice. I like this car. Just got it, I want to say a couple days ago, and I have no complaints at all. The only complaint I have is every time I get in it, someone always tries to hit me, because every time I look up, there's always somebody trying to bump into me. But yeah, it's a beautiful car here. It's a beautiful car.
What made you look at this car? So how did you start your car search?
So I will say, starting the car search, I wanted to get something that was top of the line, super luxurious, super deluxe, super sexy, super cool, and just really something that set a presence. And I was looking at a few. I was looking at a couple AMGs. I was looking at some BMWs as well, and a couple Audis. But what got me to this one was the price wise was pretty good. The mileage is also a great thing too. But the look, the sportiness, the appeal, the feel. Like, I was looking at mostly sedans. I was mostly looking at sedans before this, and I ended up getting this one because I felt, although it is a sport SUV, this mostly felt like a car. See? It's very to the ground, very kept. Love that. So that was one of the things that got me. And I would say looking was a little bit distraught. It took me about a month and some, but I knew I wanted something that set a presence, both in the car and outside the car.
So how did you dwindle it down? How did you do your process of elimination when you found different cars that you liked?
One of the things that I was looking for is something that was top of the line, so that cut off a lot of the standard entry, you know, base model type choices. And I wanted something that was pretty fast. So another thing that I was looking for when I was looking for this is, hear that? I'm sorry, I had the chance. That's another thing with this car. You can just do that, you know? There is no chill out mode. It's always on the go, you know? And sometimes I just want to be quiet and chill, and I can't, because it'll be like, let's go! And I'll be like, no! No! Every
nice.
time, just put a smile to my face. Jesus. Dwindling things down, I will say this. I wanted something fast, and I wanted something that looks good while being fast. And most of the 5 Series, unless you get into the M5 and stuff, kind of didn't really impress me. I was looking at the M3 competition. I'm too big for that. I can't fit in there. I wanted something sporty and big, and I wanted something to have fun, but also to impress clients with. Also looking at things too, you know, I previously had another Mercedes-Benz, and usually when you stay within that line, they bless you a little bit. You know, they want you to stay within that specific category. They want you to be a long-term partner. So I got a really good deal with this one, but then also it sets me up for a second one whenever I choose to get that next one. Mm-hmm. Now the next one could be like a GTS AMG, it could be, you know, the SL, you know, if I can fit in there. There could be so many choices, but I had 3 top of minds. I had the XQ8, the X6M, the AMG GT43. Those 3 cars are pretty different if you think about it. The SUV sports cars are a little more of the same, but going from the AMG to the GT43 to the sports sedans is quite different. And when I drove it, there were some things that I didn't know. I noticed that I didn't find in like the SUVs. One was I felt like it was plantable, but it didn't feel as agile. It's weird to see that in a sports sedan, because you know, with this one, I feel like it's a little bit more agile. Maybe you can turn a little corner a little bit better, but I feel planted in this. And when I'm more planted to the ground, you can make more maneuvers, you can have fun with it. Secondly, I get a better ride, I get a better feel from this, to the point where it's night and day noticeable. And it's good because, you know, let's say for example, you're just chilling on a road and you just want to be like, you can do that. You can do it easily and you feel safe. So that was another thing too. Now, granted, V8 supercharger turbo options that you could have is another thing to consider as well too. But the sex appeal was one that I was very interested in. I will say that this one was a cool one because it had the best of both worlds. It had the SUV factor. It also had the Mercedes AMG appeal to it. It was very prestigious, very agile, and it was very a set of presence, both on the road and the business office, XYZ. So that's why we went with it.
So what was your experience? You mentioned the SQ8. Why did you not end up getting the SQ8 when you went to the dealership? Like, what made you jump from that to ending up in that? Because I believe that was kind of at one point your first choice.
Yep.
But just talk about briefly, like, you know, what was your experience like with that?
Yep, and it's so funny. So I will say this, if you're a salesperson, remember this, the product sells itself, but the people buy into you. So one of the things that I was a little bit turned off from was the seller who first got me the option to try out the GT43. He felt like he didn't want to be there. Like seriously, like he just didn't feel I was worth the time. I didn't really feel enthused to push it or have fun with it. But then also I got a chance to try out the other car and it felt like a huge hassle to even bring that out. Plus the whole staff just felt like butt heads there, you know. They just didn't feel like, they didn't make me feel wanted. They didn't make me feel like there was a reason for me to shop with them. And when you're getting a car like this, you know, you're over 50 grand at least, and you want to buy into something that you have 100% buy-in. You don't want any hesitation. And like when I was driving it, I didn't feel like I was having fun in it. I didn't feel like I could really feel an essence of it. Like I felt like I was with some naggy parents, and he showed himself. Granted, like people have bad days all the time, but you always got to put your best foot forward because you won't have a second chance of doing that. And sure enough, he didn't. I went with another person that wasn't as hassling for getting a bottom number. I went with somebody who I felt very comfortable with. And overall, it was just a very seamless experience from buying it, from looking at other cars and options. He even showed me other cars that, you know, I wasn't really interested in, but just to show as a comparison. And I just really felt better bond with that person than the first person.